Today I'm going to give you a little more in-depth overview of the Epic 10.3, highlight some features and construction and fit and kind of how it's intended to be used. The biggest thing with these packs is getting the weight off your upper back and shoulders. When I used traditional backpacks that sat high on my back, I like doing 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5, 6 hour big rides. And those traditional backpacks, when I was bent over in the riding position, put all that weight right on my upper spine and shoulders and just hurt over time. Then I switched to waist packs. Waist packs had that weight in a better position down low, but they just couldn't carry enough for those big, a hot 2-hour ride or a 3-hour ride or a 5-hour ride, a really big day out. So the idea with this pack, with the Epic 10.3, is really kind of a best of both worlds, where you have 10 liters of carrying capacity, you have a 3-liter bladder, but it's held, it carries the weight down low on your hips where a waist pack would normally carry it. So when you're in the riding position, bent over like this, that weight is really on your upper hips and kept as low as possible. This also gives you a lower center of gravity, and you'll notice that having the weight down low on your hips rather than high up on your body really helps with that cornering stability, stability in technical terrain, stability when you're going down really steep rock features. Like one of the issues I had with traditional backpacks is when I was riding really steep trails, that pack sitting up here would hit the back of my helmet. So just as I was navigating a super technical rock roll, I was having my pack hit the back of my helmet. So as you can see, there's tons of space. These really sit where a waist pack would. They're not going to be hitting your helmet. The other reason we have these packs fit where they do is because this part of your body needs to move. You just need mobility when you're riding a mountain bike, and your lungs need to be able to move, right? You don't want something tight and restrictive on your lungs. So down here, these packs carry most of the weight on your pelvis, on your hips. And down here, I got this big pelvis, it's a rigid bony structure, and that's where we intend to cinch the weight, to get the weight of these packs. These straps are loose. There's not a whole lot of weight on my shoulders. So my upper body is really free to move, free to breathe. My lungs aren't restricted. My ribs aren't restricted. And these shoulder straps are really just here to keep the pack from shifting around when you're riding technical downhills. This is the place to cinch it hard, and really keep the constraint, the weight off your upper body, which needs to move around, which needs to breathe. Another thing to keep in mind, and one of the reasons we designed these packs, is just upper back breathability. You can see my upper back, there's not a lot there, especially with these super breathable mesh straps. And so one of the things you'll notice with these is just your upper back feels more breathable, less sweaty. And that was also kind of an intention behind this pack. You will get sweaty down here, you've got a pack there, but your upper body is gonna feel just a lot more free, a lot more breathable, less sweaty. Lastly, and this is something we've heard from a few users, is having this waist structure and then these straps really helps you decide where you want to distribute the weight. So right now I have a 3-liter bladder full in here. It doesn't feel too heavy, but maybe I had an extra huge load. Maybe I had a couple beers in there, layers, a bunch of food, and it does feel pretty heavy. You can start putting a little bit of weight on these shoulder straps, so you can cinch it how you want on the waist, and then it's really up to you how you distribute the weight, whether you want a little bit of weight on the shoulders, or whether you really want to have all that weight on the hips. So you can really fine tune where that weight is carried and keep it from restricting your shoulders too much. One of our priorities with the Epic line of packs was to create a pack that'll just last forever. I'm sure you've crashed. Out here in San Luis Obispo, there's all these super gnarly bushes that want to rip anything that they get their hands on. Most of my long sleeve jerseys have holes in them from brush contact. So we really wanted to make a pack that could just shrug off years of trail exposure, years of sun exposure, years of contact with brush, crashes, all those kinds of things that a pack experiences in the real world of riding mountain bikes. So you'll see on this pack, this is all nylon 210D ripstop fabric, really tough fabric. There's no thin mesh on this pack, nothing for branches to snag and grab and rip. No elastic on this pack either. There's a little bit of elastic on the shock cord on the front, But we opted to not have elastic on this pack just because over the years, UV eats rubber and elastic is rubber. So, you know, strap keepers that are rubber, outer pockets that are rubber have elastic in them. Eventually those get floppy and saggy in your pack, and they really are no longer usable on a pack. So we avoided mesh, we avoided elastic, and our goal is really for this pack to be able to be used outdoors for many years in like real conditions: sun, sweat, dirt, branches, crashes, that kind of thing. One of the other big issues that we've had with packs failing is tiny zippers. So zippers are one of the more common failure points of packs. It's a place where a lot of manufacturers like to cut costs, cut corners. And like I've had packs from multiple manufacturers, large manufacturers, that just fail over time because I get sweaty. I do big rides, I get sweaty, and zippers just don't like sweat. They get crusted, they hang up, and then they break eventually. One day you're riding, you pull the zipper and it breaks. So these zippers are super oversized. They are bigger often than like the main compartment zippers that you see from a lot of major pack manufacturers. And they're from YKK. And these are really built to endure years of getting soaked with sweat, crusted with dirt, you know, you not washing your pack, throwing it away dirt or putting it away dirty, and not have them get hung up and bust like a lot of zippers out there do. This is a place we're not willing to cut corners on cost and materials just because it's a really common failure point. So instead of elastic webbing keepers that eventually wear out, like if I had elastic webbing keepers on these straps, you know, this year, next year, this time, it'd be saggy. It wouldn't be holding my webbing anymore if I'm the kind of person that rides 5 to 7 days a week. So we have Velcro webbing keepers on the strap. So once you get your fit dialed in, you can open up this Velcro webbing keeper, get your strap where you want it. I'm about 6'1", so I'm about, you know, there's not a lot of adjustment room left for me on the strap. And then I can use this Velcro webbing keeper to keep that there so it's not flopping around all the time. On this pack, you can use the Velcro webbing keepers on the waist. You can also take the loose end of the webbing. Depending on your waist size, you can just tuck it behind the wing pocket. So when I'm riding, I like to, you know, cinch the pack and then tuck the webbing behind the wing pockets just because it's really easy to do. Okay, let's get into pockets on this pack. First off, one of our biggest priorities with all of these Arctos packs was putting as much of your stuff at your fingertips as possible. A lot of packs from other manufacturers, you just have to take it off. Some manufacturers don't even put wing pockets on their packs. Our priority was to make these wing pockets as big as possible so that when you're riding, you know, you're stopped, you're on your saddle, you can grab the tab, open it up, grab your phone, grab a bar really quickly and easily without removing the pack. So our packs truly have the biggest wing pockets of any on the market. You can see I can get a whole hand in here. You could have probably 4 or 5 bars in there. It'll fit the biggest phones. I'll often put my bell in there for mountain biking. I'll put my AirPods case in there if I'm using AirPods. I'll put my phone in there. I'll put my keys in there. These packs aren't designed to just like carry a gel or two. These wing pockets are designed to carry a ton of stuff. There's one big Cliff Bar. There's another Cliff Bar way back in there. So we really wanted to make these so that you didn't have to take the pack off to access stuff that you want to frequently access on a ride. These zippers also have really big pull tabs, so they're easy to fill with your hands and with gloves. You're riding, you stop, you can feel that tab, zip it open. It zips open with one hand. It's easy to get your hand in with one hand. You don't have to hold the pocket with the other hand to grab your phone, pull your phone out, pull a bar out. Huge wing pockets. We made them as big as we possibly could. Okay, so getting into the main compartment where the bladder is housed. This bladder has a large threaded screw top opening. We did this so it's easy to add ice, easy to clean, easy to dry. You just thread it. It has grippy sides, so you just thread it, unthread it like you would anything else, making sure you don't cross thread it. Otherwise it will leak if you cross thread it. There is an internal sleeve for this bladder to go into. Then there's down low, there's a quick connect valve where the tubing plugs into. And then that tube gets routed out through a hole in the pack. So you can see there's an actual hole behind the zipper close to your body. There's one on either side so you can route the hose through the left or through the right. And then, so that's the main compartment. There is a soft tech pocket that falls into the main compartment. It's a really soft tricot material, thick, durable but soft. Great for sunglasses, anything else that's kind of fragile that you want to keep like on top of everything else. Next pocket is the tool pocket. So when I open up this tool pocket, first thing you'll see is there's a key clip in this tool pocket. And then looking inside of it, there is a divider. So there's two different spaces for tools. There's this simple divider in there. And it's really large enough for the biggest mountain bike pumps, like the 1UP 100cc pump will fit in there just fine. Tube will fit in there just fine. Okay, so let's get into tube routing. As I showed with the bladder section, the tube for the hydration bladder comes out a hole in the side of the pack. You can then start routing it through, it routes through this first webbing loop right here. And then you keep routing it through the webbing loops on whichever side of the pack you choose to route. So both straps are identical. There's routing points on both sides. This one I like having it on the right side, so I've routed it down the right side of the pack. Let me put this on so I can illustrate. All right, so the hose comes over my shoulder, and then I'm pretty tall. I'm close to 6'2". There are spots all along the straps for you to put this plastic clip on. So this plastic clip is kind of the final anchoring point for the tube. I have it in the very last one. Comes over my shoulders. I like to leave it in the clip and just kind of leave this bite piece dangling. While I ride, it's kind of out there, but I don't notice it. I don't mind it. But I like keeping it in the plastic clip because then it's easy for me to drink and then just let go of it. I don't have to find a place to mount it. Like even on a technical climb, I'm climbing, I just go like this. I drink, my hands are back on the bars. I can drink for as long as I want. And then I don't have to find that mouthpiece and stick it back on something. I can just let it go from my mouth. This bite valve has an on-off button. So this on-off button slides up and down to turn the flow of water on or off. This is good for if you're like, you throw your pack in the back of the car and it sits on the bite valve. If it's on, it can leak all over your car, that kind of thing. So bite valve turns the water flow on and off. And then this bite valve is just operated by biting this zone right here. So you bite it, suck, and that's how you get water out, and then it automatically turns off. One thing I'll mention with the bladder, if you use water in it, you'll rarely have to clean it. Just putting water in a pack, not much stuff grows in that water. You won't get a whole lot of mold or mildew or anything growing. If you do put drink mixes in, you're gonna start having issues with mold pretty quickly. If you don't wanna have to wash it frequently, only use water. Some people like for electrolytes, just putting a little bit of salt in their water. But if you use commercial drink mixes, really anything with sugar and flavorings and that kind of stuff, you're gonna start having mold issues in the pack and we'll have to wash it out. Okay, let's talk about fitting this pack. First thing to do is use these shoulder straps to hang it over your shoulders. That makes it easier to get everything fit. So now it's hanging on me, it's not fit to me. When I go back and grab these waist straps, this pack is gonna sit too high on me. I like it a little bit lower than that. So what I'm gonna do is just let these shoulder straps out so that I can get that the pack body as low as I want it. And then I'm just gonna fasten these waist straps about where I would fasten like a waist pack. You want these straps to be over the bony part of your pelvis, not the squishy part of your torso, but the bony top part of your pelvis. This is the top of my pelvis right here. And this is where my hip is. So between your hips and your waist is where you want this waist belt to be. Once you have it there, you can cinch it and get it feeling right, to the right tightness and the right location using these waist straps. Once you do that, you can tuck the waist straps in behind the pockets so they're not flopping around. Now you can buckle the sternum strap. And then for the shoulder straps, I prefer them to have a little bit of a couple inches of lift when I'm wearing it. Like there's no weight on my shoulders right now. Part of the reason for that is these straps really exist mostly to keep the pack from flopping around. They're not there to carry a lot of weight. The other thing is when you bend over on a bike, your shoulders lift. And so it takes up some of that extra slack in the shoulder straps. So like if you fit these shoulder straps, once your waist strap is in the right place, if you fit these shoulder straps so they're super tight on your torso, then when you bend over on your bike and lift your shoulders to grip your bars, it'll be a little too tight. So the way I like to fit it, is there's no weight on my shoulders. I can actually lift them off my shoulders a little bit, and that puts it just at the perfect, like just barely snug spot to keep the pack from moving around when I'm descending. Okay, last thing to keep in mind with fit is when you cinch these waist straps, see how the wing pocket is attached to the outside of the pack? Like it attaches back here, not right here by my back. What that does is when you pull on these straps are connected to the wing pockets, which are connected to the outside of the pack. So when you pull these straps, you're not only cinching it to your waist, but you're also cinching the entire pack to your body. That's one of the reasons our pack is so stable on descents. So as you drink, you're removing volume from the pack, right? You're drinking water, the bladder is losing volume, so is the pack overall. So over time, as you're riding, this will get looser. So as you're riding and you drink and you notice it getting looser, just grab these waist straps, cinch it again. So you'll do that a few times a ride just to keep this from getting too floppy. Or if you get food out, you get a layer out. Like if you remove a jacket from your pack, that's going to create a lot of extra space. All you have to do is grab these straps and yank on it, and that cinches the whole pack. Some manufacturers use like compression straps on the back, so you tighten your waist, and you also have to reach back and use compression straps to compress the pack. It's all done with these straps on our packs. All right, so there's an in-depth overview of the Epic 10.3. If you have any questions at all, I'm happy to answer them. You can reach us at info@arctospacks.com. Thanks.